Okay, we're live. This is really fun. It's something that Greg and I have been spending hours putting together, along with Paul here, who's in my hand. And we're gonna wait a few minutes to start the concert. Whoops, my wife's calling me. Decline. How's it look up there? Yeah. Okay, so we are live on Facebook. I mean on YouTube, as far as I can tell. Everything looks good, right?
Yep.
Okay, and who's that? Was that your hand, Paul?
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're doing here tonight is something that none of us have ever done before. And I just want to give everyone a few minutes to figure out that there's a new URL and that we need to have them sign on. But in the meantime, I put up this nice little sign. And I think that was actually made by neighbors of Amy and I right after 9/11 in 2001. And so I thought this was another time where all of us are feeling similar feelings. We're experiencing this, I don't know, this fear and this scary kind of feeling as we don't know what's going to happen in the future. So Paul was going to have a few words for you here. And what time is it? It's 7:02. Do you want to wait any longer, Paul, or just go ahead?
We can rock and roll.
Okay. Well, this is Paul Humeler. He's in my hand.
Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for participating tonight. Of course, I wish you were all in the room and we could all shake hands and play guitars, but we're practicing social distancing, which I think we all should be right now. So thank you all for participating in this way from afar. But just know that we feel like you're here in the room with us, so we're looking forward to tonight. I really appreciate you supporting Al, supporting the music, and supporting all the sponsors that are doing this for you guys. This concept came about. My good friend Sally Sparks called me and said, "We got to do something." Of course, all of our friends are musicians who are losing gigs, losing income. So it's really wonderful that everybody's willing and able to do this. So thank you from the bottom of my heart, really. I got a couple words about who's putting this all together for you. The whole idea is to sort of, Sally and I both host house concerts and have for years here in the Asheville area. So we started talking, and then Sally got lots of great participation. So I want to thank Streamside Concerts, which is Sally Sparks, Acoustic Journeys Concert Series, Betty Friedrichsen, Dream Guitars. Our company, of course, is more than happy to do this, and we're live from our studio tonight. Fretboard Journal Magazine, Jason Berlind, my man, was more than happy to help us out. Deb Cornish Audio. Deb's been our sort of technical director and guru, and Asheville Music School here in Asheville as well. So it takes a village to do this sort of thing, and that's what's happening here. We're all getting together to sort of get through this, and a real big part of this is just to entertain you all. We know that you're home. Maybe for a while we're all going to be home. I'm here in my little log cabin in the mountains of western North Carolina, where I'll be staying put, other than recording a few guitars for you now and again. This is where I am. So let's all keep that up so this thing goes away very quickly. But the whole idea, again, is just enjoy music from Al, support Al and others. We're going to have John Doyle and many other people coming up for concerts as well. You can PayPal Al, and he'll give you all that information, and it should be on the link here as well. You can send him PayPal or Venmo, so look for all that information as well. And just another moment of your time from me. Some of you know that I also am a yoga instructor and do a lot of that sort of teaching, which of course is all halted as well. But I thought tonight, because we're all spread out and distant, let's come together for one moment, just a centering. So if you're willing and able, please just take a seat wherever you are. Just slow down for a minute. If it's comfortable for you, maybe close your eyes and just feel your breath for a moment. I really think in this time when we're all separate, when we're all apart, we need to sort of feel that we're part of one thing. And to me, the breath can do that. So just take a deep breath. Give your attention to the breath. And sort of feel out and around for everybody else that's here on this concert tonight. We're all here and we're all together in some fashion. And then for a moment, I'd also like you to just listen to sort of the silence that's here, right? There's no music yet. So focus on what you're hearing And what I'd like you to do tonight is, as you listen to the music, the beautiful music that Al's going to play for us, I want you to give it your full attention and listen deeply, because to me, music is not just entertainment. It's not just an escape. It's actually a powerful healing and something that can bring us more present and into this moment. So I hope that's what you'll get out of tonight, is a chance to really just have joy, go deeply within yourself, share this time with Al. So without any further ado, my dear friend, one of the sweetest humans I know, Mr. Al Petteway.
Thank you. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, all you. Oh. You're still on, aren't you?
Cheers, have fun.
Okay, thanks. Bye. That was Paul. Thanks for that. I'll just turn it off. I can't tell, that there's anybody out there applauding or anything, but I do know that you're there, and I just got a message from my daughter and her husband Wes, and they said they're watching it, and that's great. And Greg's going to keep me informed on any comments and requests that maybe you haven't already told me about. This is our first time doing this, and I feel like we don't have all the equipment we need, but between Greg and I, we were able to get together with some stuff and make it work. And I'm so happy that Greg Sipes could do this for me. So I'm just going to start playing, and I appreciate you being here more than anything. I really want people to feel like there still is a community of musicians and people that love music, and I would love to be able to give you all a hug and a kiss and shake your hands and do all that stuff. So this is going to have to take the place of that. And the little sign that's hard to read behind me, I'll say this again because I said it right before we started, but it's a sign that was made by neighbors of Amy and I's in Tacoma Park, Maryland, right after 9/11, and it says, "Keep love alive." And that's more important than ever right now. I know everyone's a little bit scared, and we just need to keep love alive, and even if it means talking through a video like this, you can nowadays with technology, you can talk to your relatives with their picture right there. So anyway, I'm going to start right off with a nice, relaxing tune called Spindrift. If Greg will just quit making all that noise over there.
I'm ready.
That was Greg. so nice to be able to play guitar like that in this kind of a setting where it's just quiet in here and you can hear the guitar ring out. And especially, I decided there's so many guitars that Paul sells, and I do have a lot of guitars by the builders that he represents. But when I was going through them trying to figure out which ones to bring, I just couldn't decide. So I decided to err on the side of caution. And I brought my two oldest guitars. None of the people, at least that I know of, none of these people that he has working to build guitars for him were alive when these two were built. This one was built in 1926, and it's a Martin 00018. It's one of my favorite current guitars, and it's just got a beautiful tone. And I got a message earlier from Bill and Andy Smith that they said you make sure you bring the Martin, and I didn't know which one, so I brought them both. The other one I have I've got everything backwards. Okay, the one I have over here is a 1931 Single 028, and both of these guitars are ones that I play a lot at home when it's quiet and I'm downstairs and it's the same kind of environment. I don't have the lights on and things like that, but I do have the quiet. So Dale asked for this tune. And it's a very old one off of my Waters in the Wild album, and I re-recorded it on an album I did recently called The Collector's Passion. It's called Chesapeake. And what's really cool, this is something that you will only hear in this concert, and if you're quiet, we're not using any effects or any kind of reverbs or anything like that. Everything you hear is what is coming from the guitars. And on this tune, I wrote a little thing at the beginning that allowed the guitar to ring and make it sound like a reverb. The box itself becomes a reverb unit. And if you're real quiet, you'll hear what I'm talking about. It's really beautiful. Not necessarily the piece, but the way the guitar reacts. I hope the piece is beautiful. This is called Chesapeake. Thanks. That's a lot of fun to play. We had a chance to play that with Robin Bullock and Sue Richards the other night, and it was just so much fun to hear it with him playing mandolin and her playing harp on that tune. That was really cool. So while I'm in this tuning and in this position, I'm going to do a couple of songs for Becky Flanagan and Paul Flanagan. A lot of people, what was cool about this is I started getting emails early on of people asking for certain tunes. And periodically, as we go through this, I'll ask Greg if there's any particular nice things that people are saying on the comments, or if they have a request, or if there's, what Paul said was, let me see if you can see this. It's a free concert, but this is the information. If you really feel like you need to donate to me, I wouldn't say no. So this is alpetteway@me.com, and you can use PayPal. That's the one I'm used to using, but I did sign up for Venmo because people said that that's what they like to use. So it's the same email address either way, though. So feel free to donate to the cause if you like. I'm just happy that we can get together like this. One of the things, this next tune that Becky Flanagan asked for is one that Ken Burns used in almost every film since he started using my music. And it's kind of a eerie, spooky kind of tune, and it's called Shadows on the Marsh. There you go, Becky. And while we're, hopefully Becky is watching and figured it out, we had to change the URL at the last second because of a technical glitch, and Greg was able to figure out how to do another one quickly enough so that Sally could get you out an email with the new URL. But some of you may be joining us late because of that. Anyway, I'm going to do this one for Becky also, mainly because I wrote it for her originally. It's called Rebecca's Waltz. So much fun to hear these guitars. This one is, like I said, it's a 1926 Martin. It's made before the Depression when people were still kind of not scared. But this thing has survived 94 years, so we should be able to do the same thing, right? Or did I get that right? It's 94 or 96. Anyway, doesn't matter. It's a long time. And the reason I pointed that out is because the tuners on this are almost like banjo tuners for you guitar guys out there. It's really fascinating to have to tune, like that last tune where the one string was a little flat and I was trying to get it up a little at a time. It's almost impossible to do it a little at a time because these tuners, the ratio is almost it's a 6-to-1 ratio as opposed to the new tuners, which most of them are like 21-to-1 or at least 18-to-1 or something. But that means that it takes 6 turns to get it all the way around as opposed to 20 turns. I mean, yeah. So it's really amazing. I mean, I can just turn it a slight bit and it goes a whole step. Nice thing though is like okay, so this is another one that was requested. This came from Tony. Tony's a really good friend, and we've known each other for years now, and he's the one that produced the album, The Collector's Passion. And people were asking for all these older tunes, and luckily in this setting, it's perfect for me to revisit those and play them because they're ones. This is one that Amy and I we're recording this one as a duet. And the hardest part for me now is going back and forth because she is playing my part and I'm now playing a harmony on this. So if I switch into a harmony accidentally for a second, that's the reason. But I'm going to play this. It's called Seven Swans. River. It was written during a project I did about the waters around the Chesapeake Bay. Here's another one that was written during that. This is called Seifel's Creek. And it was named after a creek that used to run behind Larry Seifel's house. And he was a good friend to lots of us, and we lost him quite a few years back now. But his legacy lives on in just so many ways. I won't even start. But this is going out to Larry wherever he is right now. Whoops, sorry about that. It's a little tight back here. I have lots of guitars to show you. This one is my 1931 Martin 028. I'm going to do a couple of ragtime sort of tunes on this one because it just always feels right when I play them on this tune, on this guitar. That guitar and this guitar are both, for the guitar people out there, are 1 7/8 inch necks. So it takes a little bit of adjustment. But what's really interesting to me is as I grow older, I'm having arthritic fingers and they're going in all different directions. And so I found that the wider fingerboard sometimes helps me nail the actual note a little bit better because it's not as tight. I can miss by a little bit and still get the note. So that's kind of a neat thing. Another thing I want to mention about old guitars and new guitars is now that we're all sort of locked down and, you know, trying to do the best thing and stay away from other people, and using hand sanitizer a lot, washing your hands has always been fantastic when you're a guitar player because you just don't want to have dirty hands on a guitar. But some finishes are kind of sensitive to that hand sanitizer, the alcohol stuff. So if you do use that and then play guitar, make sure that you let it dry completely. Just let it dry completely before you start playing your guitar. Most modern finishes aren't that, you know, polyurethane finish, it won't matter too much. And even lacquer isn't too sensitive, but the guitar I just sat down has got a French polish finish, and that one is very sensitive to things like that. So, I mean, just something to keep in mind if you're a guitar player. I'm going to do, like I said, a little ragtime tune. This one I recently not really re-released, but got more stock of an old album called It's Only the Blues. I mean, not It's Only the Blues, Shades of Blue. I have It's Only the Blues too, but Shades of Blue. And we were able to get some of those at a good discounted rate, so we've been passing that on to other people. And I think it's one of my better solo albums, and I really enjoy hearing it, but we just didn't have it for years, and now we've got boxes of it. So if you're still a CD user and you're into it, you can go to our website at alandamy.com and just click on the store link, and you'll see all the different things, including all the tunes that I just played. You can download the tab for them. You can download, we don't have downloads for the actual tunes yet. You'd have to go somewhere else for that. But we're working on it. Now that we're all having more time at home, we're going to be working on all these projects that we've been putting off. And so here's a tune from that album. And it was written for a cat called St. Clair. And this is called St. Clair's Rag. I've written so many songs with those kind of changes that I get confused. And a lot of times when I'm here at Dream Guitars demoing guitars of this kind, I'll start playing one and end up going through 2 or 3 different ones before I finish my little 50-second piece. And this one, I almost went into this other tune that is a more recent one, and I might as well go ahead and play it for you since I have it on my mind. This is the time of year around here in the mountains of western North Carolina when all the bears start coming out. So far, Amy hasn't seen them on her critter cams. She's got about, I think, 25 critter cams spread around our property now. And if you go to youtube.com/Fairview Critter Cams, I think that's the correct URL. If you go there, then you can see all these different videos. The one that she just sent out with our newsletter is one of my favorites. It's a mama bear with her 2 cubs playing on a hammock. And they tore the hammock to bits, but they had so much fun that it was worth it. I mean, so much, they gave us so much pleasure. And I think in times like these where we're feeling unsure and uncertain about the future, I feel like a little walk in the woods will take care of it. And I'm going to send this out to the mama bear. It's called Mama Bear Rag. Okay. Let's see if I can remember it. It's supposed to go. Big old mama bear and the cubs. I even wrote a tune called Baby Bear Rag, but I'm not going to keep doing all the bear rags. I'm sure you guys are already getting tired of hearing guitar, but maybe not. I'm not. I'm really enjoying this. I'm really having fun playing my guitar in this nice environment and getting to hear all the notes. It's really great. Much better than being plugged in on stage, even though I really enjoy that too, but there's something special about playing on high quality microphones that you just can't get on stage. So I appreciate Greg Sipes setting me up here with these nice Neumanns and everything. Is that probably a Sennheiser up there, right? Is that, yeah, Sennheiser boom mic. So what do I got here? Oh, I'll do, since I am doing rags, I'm going to do one more. Just for the fun of it. And I'm just going to keep playing until my fingers fall off. How's that? That could happen anytime. So look at the sign behind me. Keep love alive. Keep music alive. Keep community alive. Keep everybody together. And this is the way that we need to. This may be forever. I mean, who knows? Who knows how long it's going to take before we can actually interface with other people the way we're used to. And Greg and I were trying really hard not to touch the same things, but here we are setting up mics and mixing board and everything, and there's just no way. So Greg and I are going down together. If one of us goes, we both go. But and we both have people that are our partners named Amy, so it works out just fine. So Amy might have to go too. I'm not trying to make light of it. I really am not. It's just that Greg and I are always joking, and I can see him right over there, and he's. You should see what goes on here, but it's not that bad, really. We're both pretty nice guys. We don't say anything really bad. So this is one I'm going to send out to my daughter Sarah and her son Tony and daughter Kyla. And I wrote this for Tony when he was about this big. I was babysitting for him, and I was just playing guitar for him. I always do that with babies. I like to play guitar for them and see if they cringe or not. If they don't, then I figure it's a good tune. So I went and saw Tony's high school graduation a few years ago, and he played this tune for me, and he knows how to play it. So that blew me away. And I'm glad that he's home safe now from college, and that Sarah was able to hook up with him. All the family is together, and I'm sending my love out to you guys. This is called Tony's Rag. That's the two old Martins for Bill and Andy Smith. And what else do I have here today? I've got all kinds of different gear. Alex wanted to hear this song, so I'm going to go for it if I can reach that guitar. I'm going to grab it. Excuse me one second. he wanted to hear a blues song, and so we'll do a little Robert Johnson here. Went down to the crossroad, tried to flag a ride. I went down to the crossroad, tried to flag a ride. Nobody seemed to know me, everybody passed me by. Right standing at the crossroads, got down on my knee. Went down to the crossroads, fell down on my knees. Beg the Lord above for mercy, can you help a poor boy please? Sun's going down low, dark's gonna catch me here. Sun's going down low, dark's gonna catch me here. Ain't got nobody to take away my fear. And tell my friend poor Willie Brown. You can run, run and tell my friend poor Willie Brown. 'Cause I'm standing at the crossroads, and I think I'm sinking down. So that Robert Johnson was the guy that started all the rock and roll, and but in reality there was someone before him that kind of inspired him, and that was a group called the Mississippi Sheiks, and they wrote this next tune in 1930, and Robert Johnson liked it so much that he turned it into one called "Come On In My Kitchen." At least that's the way I hear it. I'm always hearing things like that. I know Scott Ainsley's watching, so he'll probably correct me on that. But it's called "Sitting on Top of the World." It was in the spring, one summer's day. That's when she left me, went away. Now she's gone, and I don't worry, 'cause I'm sitting on top of the world. I looked all summer and into the fall, looking for my little old Lenore, but now she's gone, and I don't worry, 'cause I'm sitting on top of the world. the station, went out in the yard. Went out to the station, went out into the yard. Went down to the station, went out in the yard. Gonna catch, I'm in the wrong song. So what I'm gonna do is catch that freight train. I just couldn't remember all the words, but that's one of those songs that I've always enjoyed hearing, and I just decided this is the kind of thing I do at home sometimes when nobody's watching. I'll pick up a guitar like this that you've probably never seen me play before, and just mess around with the slide. And the other kind of thing, that's one thing when you think about it. This is a good time to do that. You know, if there are a few things like that you've always wanted to learn, like slide guitar, there are countless people online, like Scott Ainsley, for example, that could teach you online. There are a lot of people that are now turning to that. Musicians no longer have an income. There's nothing left. Put this over here. And it's not just musicians, it's everybody. I mean, especially that whole industry, the entertainment industry, the theaters, the restaurants, the wait people, the servers that just had to go home, and they have no income. And so we're all doing this, and I know everybody's got a thing online like this where they're playing little concerts. And this is, in fact, a free concert. I'm doing it because I wanted to bring that sense of community back together to everybody. But the thing that I want to be sure that you know, if you want to, you can donate. And I really don't even care too much if you donate to me. Oh, Greg, my producer, says, hold up the PayPal card. Okay. So let's see if I can get that on the camera. Okay, there you go. So right under the love, use PayPal or Venmo to send donations to alpettaway@me.com. Thanks so much. And if you want to send them to some other musician, there are a lot of people coming up on this concert series. I'll have to pull it up on my phone to see them probably, but go on that link that you got in your email, and it'll show you all the people that are coming up. Shane will be playing tomorrow night, and in the trio Sephardi, I think, is coming up. John Doyle, all those people Paul mentioned, and it's a lot of people that are all over the world. There's one, Fabio, I can't remember his last name. He's in Milan. He hasn't been able to get out of his house for weeks. And he's going to maybe do one of these concerts. So keep your eyes peeled for these emails. If you get on that list, Sally will keep you up to date, as will Paul and people like Scott Bresnick, who's his internet guy up in New Jersey, and then Greg Sipes here might be even helping out now that he knows how to do it. Who knows? I think they'd have to pay him more than I'm paying him, though. That's the other thing. Sound guys are out of work. My son-in-law is a sound guy. The theater's closed. What are you going to do? Sit at home and make new music, I guess, and put it online and hope people give you a donation. So there you go. Anyway, I'm going to show you what else I do at home. I've been playing around with different kinds of instruments, mandolins, banjos, and this guitar. It's a weird tuning. I'm going to play a couple of tunes that I wrote with this lap slide. And I was lucky enough to be able to play this at the Swananoa Gathering last year on stage, this first tune. And I'd never played it in front of anyone before. And when I found out that my hands may get to the point where I can't use them, especially my left hand. I decided to learn how to use a slide bar on that last guitar and this one. And for any of you guys like me that are getting up close to 70 or above, if you start having problems pushing down strings on the guitar and you just can't physically do it. In my case, I can't do bar chords anymore because all my fingers are bent like this, so I can't do a lot of the tunes I recorded. So what's fun with this is you can play with different tunings, and then by sliding, you get a really nice vocal kind of quality from one of these instruments. And this one was made by a guy named Michael Hampel up in Oregon. And I've just been playing around with the standard D tuning, but this is D-A-D-E-A-D, so da-dead. It's easy to remember. Let's see if it'll work. I don't have any titles for these tunes yet, so I'm looking for suggestions. It's really fun to play. And I think that, this is the kind of thing that, I guess it was a little over a year ago now, or maybe more than that, almost 2 years ago, when I first got one of these things, just trying to use this bar was impossible. And I found out, this is a trick if you're learning how to do this. If you do vibrato from the bottom up instead of going above the note. So it sounds more in tune than if you go right on the note and vibrate up the way you do on a regular guitar. It sounds sharp that way. So you really come up from below it, and it makes it feel like it's more in tune. And the vibrato saves you. It's sort of like singers that do that. Do a little bit of vibrato on either side of the note, and you're hitting the note over and over in between those two vibratos. I think I'll leave that at that maybe. I have about a half dozen songs that I've recorded on this, and having so much fun. So maybe that's one of the projects I'll do. I'll release an album of just slide. We'll see. We'll see. I wanted to play just a few more. I know, one of the things on these kinds of events is that it's really easy to get bored, and you want to go out and find what the news is. I mean, it's whatever thing. It's been we've been on here a little over an hour, so I'll try not to hold you too much longer. And I just want to say again, I really appreciate it. But I'm going to play a couple more tunes. I had a request for these too. These are off that Shades of Blue album. I think. Well, I know Dale likes one of them. I'm not sure about the other one. So, yeah, this is good. Okay. So I'll do this one. Greg, is there any comments I need to know about?
Somebody suggested you call that tune something old, something new.
Oh, yeah, something old, something new. Or one of my titles I thought for a great album was, album title was Getting Old is Getting Old. I've got a lot of them, actually. I've been keeping them, writing them down, because these things, those kind of gems don't come to you every day, This one, Amy and I were playing at a festival up in Jonesboro, Tennessee, and we stayed at a place called the Eureka Hotel. This place was built in 1727. It's one of the oldest places in the east of the Mississippi. And I was sitting on the porch early in the morning before the festival got going, and this train, they're right near the train tracks, train went by, and I was just sitting there, and even the streets and the stores that are around it, it just felt like I went back 150 years. It was unbelievable. It felt so much like an old cowboy town. Just for that moment. And so I wrote this tune. It's more of a later than the cowboy time, but it's a sort of a ragtime thing, and it's called Eureka Hotel. Here's the other one. This is called Alfonso Brown is Back in Town. These are both on Shades of Blue. I hope I didn't blow out the microphones. It's just a lot of fun to play that one there. I can get stuck sometimes on this. Or, and never leave. So Amy sometimes has to kick me when that happens. So I think I'm going to do, let's see. I'm going to do one more in case, and then, if I get an encore, I'll come back and do another one. we'll see if that happens.
They want you to keep going.
They want me to keep going.
Yeah, they do.
Okay, well, we'll see. Okay. It's wonderful having you all here with me. This is really cool. I mean, I felt like I was actually going to a gig. I brought my vest with me. I brought my guitars and all my gear and set up, and we were half an hour before the thing, still trying to figure out if it was going to work. And as far as I know, it's working, and I hope all of you people there, I was so honored that you would spend this evening with me. And I'm going to do this tune that is probably the one I'm most well known, or the tune that is most well known that I've written. And it was written for a movie called The National Parks, America's Greatest Idea. And it was produced by, Ken Burns and Dayton Duncan. And I'm going to play it for you here. Every once in a while, that film series will come back around on PBS. And if you haven't seen it, it's amazing to see what these national parks look like, what the story behind them was, different people who spent their whole lives going from one park to another. It's an amazing story. And the film work, is just, I'm a photographer myself, and to see what they did, it took them, I think, 5 or 6 years just to do all the filming. So it was an amazing thing. And I'm going to watch it again. I have it on DVD. So this is called Sligo Creek. Thanks again for watching. Thanks so much. And like I said, if I get enough applause at the end, then I'll do another one. Okay? can't hear it.
That wasn't much applause.
Maybe they'll come back and applaud some more, you know?
There's 420 people watching, by the way.
420 people watching. I think they can do better than that. Let me see.
There we go.
There we go.
There we go.
Now they're clapping. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming. Thanks for spending time with me. And make sure you support everybody else. I'll try to let the applause die down a little bit before I do anything. I can't hear it. I can just see it. He's going to give me a clue. I can stop it now.
Now there's more applause.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh.
There we go.
Oh, man. I thought I already stopped it. Oh, well. I just thought that would make it feel more like a concert, you know? I mean, I can do any number of tunes if there's a... But I was thinking, I'm going to send this out to Tony Benute. He was he's now a PhD and he's one of the bosses at his company, I think, or whatever they are. He was in school when we first met him, and he was doing gardening work for us. And that was on September 11th, 2001. And it gave us a feeling of what it was like to be with someone who's not part of your family, but someone that you all of a sudden bond with. And I wrote this tune. I was in the middle of recording Shades of Blue, and it was supposed to be a blues album. And I wrote this tune. It's raining, isn't it? Yeah. I wrote this all in one take. On the album, what you hear is it was me just improvising from beginning to end. And when I play it now, sometimes I have a hard time remembering, because Scott Ainsley also recorded a version of this, on a beautiful, beautiful version of this. And it's called Requiem. Thanks again, and have a good evening. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. It actually felt really good. I could feel it coming through the screen, believe it or not. It just felt like there were people there, and it's hard to describe that feeling, because I'm sitting here looking at a little green light. but I know you're there, and I can really appreciate that you would spend your time with me. And I hate to do this. This is the kind of thing I hate doing, but one more time I'm going to show you. I'm getting word from my brain. This is the link, alpetteway@me.com, and you can send me $1. You don't have to send me anything. This is a free concert, but you can send me something if you feel like it, and at that link, and using PayPal or Venmo. I use the same email in both places. Never used Venmo before, but I'm on there now, and you can just go ahead and give me $1 or $2, and I would, it would make all the difference in us being able to pay the bills.